So here's the big question. How are entrepreneurs like us, who have been hustling and struggling to make it to success, who seem to make it one step forward only to fall two steps back, who are dedicated, determined, and driven, how do we finally break through and win? That is the question, and this podcast will give you the answers. My name is Brian Kelly, and this is the Mind, Body, Business Show. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Mind, Body, Business Show. We have a phenomenal guest waiting in the wings right now. It is none other than Danielle Fitzpatrick-Clark. She is a LinkedIn expert amongst so many other things. I cannot wait to share her knowledge with you. And that is what this show truly is all about. The Mind Body Business Show is a show where we interview successful entrepreneurs from all over the world. And why do we do that? And that is so that we can elicit their secrets for success. And you simply write down notes. And then after the show is over, you take action and model what they have done to achieve that level of success. And so show after show after show, we have incredible guests, all have achieved success in various ways. And the beautiful thing is you can take these pieces from each individual or all of them from one individual and just model them. All you need to do is copy what they are doing. And you can achieve success much faster than trying to do it all by yourself from the beginning. Look, we're all very astute. We're all very smart, intelligent. Could we do it on our own? Probably. The thing is, would you rather take 10 years to achieve the level of success you desire, or would you rather whittle that down to, say, 3? The choice is completely all of ours, right? And the best way to do this is to model others to get there faster and get rid of that ego. The Mind Body Business Show is about what I call the 3 pillars of success. Over the course of about a decade, I was studying only successful people. And we're talking about mentors of mine, like actual people that I worked with on a day-to-day basis, authors of books, other individuals who may no longer even be with us, and other authors. And through all of this course of study, I realized there were these 3 patterns that kept bubbling up to the top. And that was the very title of this show. Mind being mindset. To an individual, each and every one of these successful people had a very powerful, positive, yet most importantly, flexible mindset. And then body. They literally took care of themselves, both physically through exercise and nutritionally. And then business. Business is so multifaceted. It's a wondrous, wondrous thing. It involves having to master skill sets, a number of skill sets, in order to build and scale and continue to thrive a business. Skill sets like sales, team building, marketing, systematizing, leadership. I mean, there are a lot, and it goes on. And I could keep going. I won't, I promise. The good news, though, you know that to master any one skill or skill set can take a very long time. The good news is you personally don't necessarily have to master all of them yourself. In fact, if you were to master just one of those, and it was one of the few that I just mentioned a moment ago, then you can leverage and use that instead of you yourself mastering all these skill sets. And that one, that if you master it, it is the skill set of leadership. If you've mastered, or even if you're on your path to mastering the skill set of leadership, then you can start to bring in and assemble a team of individuals who have already mastered those skill sets in which you may not ever master. And if you're going to attempt to do it, it will take some time. So why not just pull in those that already have the skills that you need? And so, you know what? Hey, Brian, I don't even have a team. How do I master leadership? That's a great question. I get that a lot. And the answer is master leading yourself first. And in fact, that's crucial before you even bring on other individuals in your business, is to learn how to master yourself, the discipline, the scheduling, documenting your business, everything just as if you were another employee of your business. That is what this show is all about, is bringing on amazing people like Danielle, who is going to absolutely ooze with value. And it's going to be a good ooze of value on this show. I can't wait to bring her on. She's very excited. And another phenomenal trait, I would say, of very successful people is that also to a person, I found that they're all very avid readers of books. And with that, I want to segue very quickly into a little segment I affectionately call bookmarks.
Bookmarks. Born to read. Bookmarks. Ready, steady, read. Bookmarks. Brought to you by reachyourpeaklibrary.com.
There you see reachyourpeaklibrary.com. Real quick word, soapbox moment here is as you're watching this show, as you're listening to all these fantastic resources, especially when Danielle comes on, you're going to learn about all these wonderful resources that you can take advantage of rather than succumb to that itch, so to speak, to go click away and check it out while the show is going on. I implore of you to instead write it down. And then after the show is over to visit those resources. The reason I say that is I have spoken from stage for years. I used to be the lead trainer for one of my mentors that I mentioned for 2 years. And while I'm on stage, I know when I'm getting to that, the juicy part, the part that can change lives. And at that moment, sometimes you would see some people get up out of their chair and go to the restroom and leave the room, or they have that all important text message they must address. I would hate for you to lose your focus, to take it away from what Danielle is talking about, that one nugget that could literally change your life for the better forever, just because you took your focus away from the show. So just my advice, write it down and then visit it after the show. Okay, soapbox moment is over. reachyourpeaklibrary.com. It is a resource that I had my team put together with you in mind. And I know that sounds a little cheesy, but it's absolutely the truth. I myself did not become an avid reader until about the age of 47, which is about 11 years ago. I know you're all doing the math. And the beautiful thing is I found out that, my gosh, reading had a huge impact on my life, not only on business, but also my personal life. And so what I did was I started compiling a list of all the books that I personally read that had an impact on either my business or personal or both, in either or both areas of my life. And they're in no particular order here. And by the way, this is not a site that is built for the purpose of making money. If you see a book that really grabs you, you read the description, you want to get it, go get it anywhere. You don't have to get it from here. All of those buttons go to Amazon. The point is, get a book that will take you to that next level in your business. And at least you'll know that the books that are listed here have at least been vetted by one other successful entrepreneur. That way, it increases your odds of not wasting your time. And speaking of not wasting your time, I'm not going to waste yours anymore with all this babble, because we have a phenomenal guest waiting to come on. Let's bring her on, shall we?
It's time for the Guest Expert Spotlight. Savvy, skillful, professional, adept, trained, big league, qualified.
And there she is, ladies and gentlemen. It is the one, the only Danielle Fitzpatrick Clark.
Woo. Hi. Woo. I know, I needed my sound effects. I didn't have it ready.
How are you doing this evening, Danielle?
Oh, I'm so good. I'm so glad to be here.
Yeah, and very happy to have you on. I can't wait to pick that beautiful brain of yours to find out all the juice that's inside about how you've achieved your level of success. I'm really, really particularly intrigued about everything to do with LinkedIn that I've been reading about you. So I cannot wait to dive in. Before we get going real deep, I need to do a little housekeeping, if that's okay with you, Danielle, and that is to throw up a few sponsorship spots. First of which is the Big Insider Secrets. You see that wonderful red and white stamp looking logo right above Danielle's left shoulder. It's on the right of the screen as you're watching this live, because that's what you're doing, aren't you? And if you're not, then head on over, write this down. Head on over to the Mind Body Business Show. .com. I know it's a long URL. The mindbodybusinessshow.com. Register to receive automated announcements when we air live. There's nothing for sale. It gives you the link. You click on it and you're joined with us instantly, watching and engaging with us live. I see some comments coming through already. We'll bring those up in a moment. And that comment could be yours and your name could be in lights. So that's a beautiful thing. And Reach Your Peak Light, the Big Insider Secrets. Why are they so special? Because they sponsor this very show. They give us the ability for everyone that's watching live, another reason to watch live. Everyone that's watching live, at the end of the show, we will reveal how you can win a 5-night stay at a 5-star luxury resort. Again, all compliments of the Big Insider Secrets. You do not want to miss that. So stick around to the end. Really, the reason to stick around to the end is because of this young lady, and that's enough in itself. But now this is an added bonus. So just do it, stick around, and why not give yourself a gift of an incredible vacation stay, and a couple more, and then we'll bring back this lovely young lady. If you're struggling with putting a live show together and it's overwhelming, and you want a lot of the processes done for you while still enabling you to put on a high quality show and connect with great people and grow your business all at the same time, then write this down: carpetbombmarketing.com. Then head on over to it after the conclusion of tonight's show and take a gander. Carpet Bomb Marketing, saturate the marketplace with your message. And you can get a free lifetime membership to the Reach Your Peak Club. What is that? Your free membership includes instant access to deep discounts on major software, services, and top shelf training courses that you need to run your successful business. You can think of it as your entrepreneur discount house. So catapult your business to the next level and sign up for free after the show's over. And once you sign up, the moment you do, you get a hotel discount card worth $200 just for signing up, and it's free. You get paid to join, in other words. And then once you gain access after enrolling, then go grab your deep discount. So go ahead and write this down after the show. Head over to reachyourpeakclub.com. That's reachyourpeakclub.com. All right, back to the woman of the hour. Yes, it is Danielle Fitzpatrick Clark and everybody. So I'm going to give you the introduction you deserve, and then we're going to have some fun. Does that sound good, Danielle?
That sounds great.
All right. Yes. Danielle Fitzpatrick Clark. She is a digital disruptor and CEO and founder of Influencer Builder or Influence Builder. Sorry. Danielle is an international best-selling author. Oh, that's a whole topic in its own right. I love that. Speaker and CEO of Influence Builder. I got to pause just for a second. She already has the main ingredients of a serious businesswoman. She is an author, a speaker, and she's also running her own business on top of that. Not many people can add those to their title, author and speaker. So kudos. She works with influencers and mission-based entrepreneurs to help them create impact, influence, and powerful platforms and multiple income streams in their business. How many of you would like additional income streams in your business? Yes, please. Her clients reach multiple 7 and 8 figure business income levels quickly and effectively, avoiding dead ends, massive gaps, and instead building strong foundations and lasting results for both them and those who serve. All right, that's our show, everybody. It's been a great one. That is a powerful, powerful, powerful bio. I cannot wait to peel apart the onion and dig in and see what's going on in that big, beautiful brain of yours, Danielle. So let's get it started. What do you say?
I would say it's probably not going to take much peeling. I'm pretty open book here.
Well, that's good. Just one layer and we're done. We're good.
That's yep. You just one cut and you're good.
Oh, fantastic. So what I like to find out right from the onset is, because I'm a firm believer that what is going on in our collective brains and our individual brains is 100% responsible for where we are, our level of either success or lack thereof. And so what I like to open the show with is the mind part of it. We don't need to cover every element of the title of the show, but I do like to start off with the mind. And what I want to find out from you, Danielle, knowing that you're an entrepreneur, knowing that you've been through it. I mean, you've written a book and you've spoken from stage. That's going through it already. There's a lot behind doing those two things.
Yep.
And then conducting business every day. You know, you get up, there are arduous tasks that you're faced with every day. And as an entrepreneur, you just keep powering through. For you, when you get up in the morning and you know that the day is ahead and you are aware of what tasks lie ahead, not all of them are sunshine. What is it going on in your beautiful brain that is keeping you powered and driven and going forward each and every day, knowing that you have to overcome these obstacles?
Yeah, it's a really great question, and I wouldn't say that I started like this either, but it's kind of this dedication. It's the dedication not just to like the business and what I'm doing in the world, but to my clients, to my family. So there's an underlying dedication to what it is that I'm doing and what it is I stand for, and so it's pretty simple, but it's an emotional piece too. Like this is what I do, this is what I get up and do, this is my routine. Um, and we get it done. We get it done and we get more done. And that's usually a really good goal for me. It's like, oh, can I get this checklist done or can I get tomorrow's checklist partly done? And so then there's more to add to that. But yeah, it's a unyielding dedication for sure.
Oh, that's awesome, and I love it. We're getting some comments that are making me chuckle, but I'm gonna show up a couple of them. Lori Ann Hood, hello from South Carolina. Welcome back, Lori. Thanks for coming on. My good buddy, Christopher Roush. I have no idea what point was being made at that moment, but Lori Ann Hood, whoop, whoop. And this is funny. Christopher and I we're buds, and we each have a show, so he's having fun with me. He said, so many commercials, LOL. Get to the content. He probably thought I wouldn't put that up there, but it's all good. It's fun. Lori Ann says, I knew her name sounded familiar to me when I read it. Good, good already. And guess what? He says, love her. They're talking about you, of
Oh.
course. Yes, of course.
That could be he could be talking about the other one too. She's in there giving us a whoop whoop and stuff. So I love her too. So
Absolutely. There's plenty of love to go around. I love everybody. Oh, everybody included. And yeah, I love how you talked about dedication is what drives you. And the interesting part that really popped out of my ears and my brain when you said it
yeah,
was dedication to your clients and your family, not
yeah,
about dedication to you and your outcome and results.
yeah,
This is what I find is a common thread amongst successful entrepreneurs is they are servant based, thinking of others first and knowing that when they serve more people and get them the results they're looking for, that you will, of course, reap the rewards as a result of doing that. But your focus isn't on yourself, it's on helping and serving others. Does that accurately reflect what you would say, how you go about things?
that would be yes. I didn't say it so eloquently as you did because I don't even it's not even it's not that I'm ignoring myself, but I really feel like what I do is it does through me. So it's not so much that it's about me and I'm in my head. It is a service or a servant mindset. It's always been like that for me. So but yeah, it's a leadership quality I've heard too.
Yes.
Leaders don't necessarily lead for themselves, they lead for others. So I've always had that mentality since I was little, what I was taught too.
And wow, you got some great teaching at a very young age then, because yeah, Leaders Eat Last is a great book along those lines. And here's I have interviewed hundreds of entrepreneurs on this show, and to a person, their level of success is a direct correlation to their servant attitude.
Yeah.
It's about helping others. That's why I love what I get to do. In a corporate job, which I've had, that you're helping really yourself and your family and not too much others other than the company itself that you're working with, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But for me, it wasn't enough. And now I'm able to help and serve others in ways I know I can really have an impact on their life. And it just excites the holy bejeebers out of me every single day. And so that's what keeps me going. And it sounds like you're very similar.
Yeah.
And most people I interview are the same way. You
Yeah.
did mention a word in there, and I'm going to kind of put you on the spot here.
Yep.
Well, I mean, either way, you mentioned the word routine. Do
Hmm.
you yourself, whoops, do you yourself have a routine that you go through during the day, in the morning, at night, maybe in the midday? And if
Yeah.
so, what is that so others can maybe model that?
Yeah, and there's like a routine within a routine too. So the first one is that we get up early. Kids got to get ready for school, and they're first and foremost. So up with the kids really early. I would say we're usually up 5:30 or 6
Whew.
in the morning. So getting them to school, making sure all the pets, because we have a little bit of a zoo here, I will say. Not a real zoo, but as far as a suburban home, we have a lot of animals, and they as many animals as people, so that's a lot. Actually more, actually one more. So we have to take care of them, kids, and so that's the morning routine. We all work together, and then um, kids are off to school, and then I'm doing my to-do list, and I usually will spend about 30 to 40 minutes on the to-do list, and then I go into my marketing piece. So it's my sales and marketing piece in the morning, and I have my favorite platforms that I play on, and then my admins will support me on some of the other ones that are not so much my favorites, but they're still pretty good. And so we do our organic marketing first thing in the morning. And for LinkedIn, I do what I call a LinkedIn lab. So that's one of my favorite things to do first thing in the morning.
You call it LinkedIn Lab?
LinkedIn Lap, a lap.
Ah, gotcha.
Yeah. So, and it's actually been really successful for not just me, but for my clients have been really successful with it. And it's a consistency thing where this is if we do this every morning, we spend 30 minutes. Some people will spend an hour doing it, but it's really just kind of looking through. your LinkedIn. So like the social piece of LinkedIn. So who's viewed my profile? And so going through that. And do we have first degree connections? Is it second degree connections? If they're second degree, have we connected with them and sent them a nice message? If first degree, if we haven't connected with them, now's a good time to say, hey, I saw you looking at my profile. No, I actually don't say that. I just like, hey, so great that we connected. Looks like we haven't talked yet. So I thought I'd just pop in here and hope you're having a good day. And so it's just getting that conversation going with somebody who's already interested in what you're doing because they're looking at your profile. So that's usually the beginning of the LinkedIn lap. And so I go through all the tabs and all the things I can do. Um, and that starts my day. And then we go into client work. So implementation and then calls. Yep.
I love how we jumped right into LinkedIn because that's what I'm personally most interested in right now because I know we all know that it is a business-based portal. It's
Hmm.
not like Facebook where you just take pictures of what you're eating that night and Twitter and all the other ones where everyone's going nuts politically and everything else. LinkedIn is for the most part honed in on business related topics. So when you're reaching out to people, I'm curious, how are you doing that? Is that through a direct message or on their just commenting up on their profile? How are you getting out to them that way?
It's a good question. It depends. It depends on the person. So there's all these different avenues. And so one of the things that and I know it's actually not in my bio, but my background's in science. I'm an environmental science from education. So I'm really methodical with everything I do. And so this is the fun part of my days is that I leave a little room for me to get creative and be organic. And so everything's an experiment, especially on LinkedIn.
Mm,
Everything's an experiment on LinkedIn. And so we're working we're working with a lot of human behavior here when it comes to social media and digital marketing. We have an idea of how people will respond, but we really have to study people before we actually study the platforms. We have to know people and how they're going to respond. And sometimes we don't know how they're going to respond. So sometimes, I get to kind of poke them a little bit and see how they react. And there's no good or bad. It's just a reaction so that we can gauge, okay, where do we go from here? And
yeah.
was that a failed experiment? Do I not say that again? Or and it's and most people on the receiving end don't even know what I'm doing, and it's very curious to them. But I'm really neutral about it because I'm like, I just need to see because I'm not sure because I haven't had this experience before with someone or I haven't had this conversation. And so I'll take it where it needs to go and I'll get an answer one way or another. So there's a lot of that going on too.
Have you found that if you've responded or reached out to somebody with the same exact message that you get sometimes completely opposite reactions from those?
Always.
Yeah. And I brought that
Always.
up I brought that up for a specific point that to tell everybody there is no one answer. This
Mhm,
is human being interaction. That's
mhm.
why what you're saying is so refreshing, Danielle. You're not saying, "I know the only way to get through to people." You're saying, "No, it's an experimentation process, and I'm still doing it." And I
Yeah.
think it never ends. I don't think it's ever something we're gonna go, "Oh, I finally figured out human existence. Every personality, I can write one magical sentence that won't offend a single a person on the soul or on the planet." It just won't happen that way, I don't think.
It would be
Um,
really boring if it did, though. I mean,
ooh,
having a conversation with people where somebody could be taking it the wrong way, that's actually pretty fun if you think about it, because then you can see how much you've grown and how you can turn the conversation. And without being face to face, with just using your words, it's really it's really something when you can turn a conversation if it was heading down a road that wasn't so great. And so you can actually tell the emotional intelligence of the other person as well to see how they turn.
yeah,
And it doesn't matter. You're learning as you go, and you have to be really open to the learning part of LinkedIn, especially because LinkedIn is going through a lot of changes. There's a lot of people who have been on like Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, and they're coming over, and so they're trying to navigate it, and they don't quite know what to expect. And then you've got people who have been on LinkedIn forever and they're not on any other social media platform. So they think it's this way. And so it's a really interesting time to combine all these different personalities and backgrounds and experiences into one platform and just seeing how everybody plays. It's kind of wild some days. It's like, oh, this was interesting.
it is interesting because the written word, they can't see what your face looks like. They can't hear the inflection on your voice. They don't know the true meaning or intent
Hmm.
behind a message. And some people will go directly to assuming it was a negative intent. Others will do a neutral. Others will say,
Yep.
"Oh, that sounded great. That's positive." And it's
Yep.
interesting how they respond. Oh, I've got to react to this one. Christopher Rush said, "Love you, brother," and I'm going to tell you, Christopher, love you more, brother.
Oh.
Yes, LinkedIn is a learning curve for sure. And you know what? Yeah, you're right, Lorianne. You know what is also a learning curve? Life.
Hmm.
And the beautiful thing, that's what I love about business. It is about relationship building. It
Yeah.
is about relationships.
Yep.
And it took me forever for that to get through this thick skull.
Hmm.
I'm a software engineer by trade. I love automating everything. I thought I can just blast out emails to thousands of people at once and I'll make money. That worked 20 or 30 years ago. It
Hmm.
don't work like that anymore at all.
Yep.
And everything, marketing, what used to work yesterday doesn't necessarily work today.
Hmm.
And what works today may not necessarily work in the future. But there is one common denominator that has worked throughout all of time. Any idea what that might be? I've said it about 5 times. It's relationships.
Relationships. It's got to be relationships and communication.
Yeah. And
Yep.
the reason I balked from it and I pushed away from it was because now it's one-on-one. It's
Hmm.
not efficient use of my time, I was telling myself, when
Hmm.
in fact it was the opposite. That was where my time should be getting spent. Okay, a question about LinkedIn that I'm just dying to ask you. There is this additional upgrade called Sales Navigator that so many people know about that
Hmm.
cost some money. And for
Hmm.
people just starting out, that could kind of crush them. For
Yep.
others, it's like, so what? What the method you're utilizing, does it require Sales Navigator? Do you suggest that people get it, or do you say it's okay, you can do whatever we're doing without it? How does that work
Hmm.
for you?
You can do what you need to do without it. However, I highly recommend it because there's so much more that you can do with it. And they're really beefing up Sales Navigator now to the point
Mm.
where Sales Navigator is actually taking AI and discovering who your avatars are for you.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a new feature. That's like brand spanking new because that one just came out. So they're your personas. So
Huh.
your ideal client personas is that they're actually taking who you've connected with, and I'm assuming that they're saying who you're having, communications with and who's liking your post, and then they're coming up with the personas. Like so it's basically your ideal client, your avatar is the same language, but it's making suggestions for you on who to
Wow.
connect with. So that's really amazing.
Wow.
Yep. Yep.
Oh,
That's
man,
brand
that
it's
gives.
new too. It's new. So
So
like
is that like AI driven? Do you know, like artificial intelligence?
it's gotta be
It
because
sounds like it.
it's gotta be. So, I mean, I don't know how else they would come up with it, but you can kinda see where LinkedIn is going with things, and I know right now there's still not a whole lot of people that have upgraded. They still have the free LinkedIn, and you can do so much with the free LinkedIn. Like, there's so many different things that you can do with it. You don't have to spend the money on, like, premium, or even Sales Navigator. However, if you really wanna accelerate things and you really want to filter who you're communicating with, who you're connecting with, then that is going to be a fast way of doing it. And I usually just think about it like, listen, you can get really good at your social selling, your social marketing, which is kind of that communication either in the DMs or in the content. You can get really good at that, and then you can have Sales Navigator and filter that, or you can try to figure out and do your advertising and have the advertising
Mm.
dictate who your buyers are. So with me liking people and liking experiments, even when I make them mad, I still like them. I can see a lot. I can actually see a lot of what's going on in their head with these conversations, and so it's not to hurt anyone's feelings, but it's more to empathize, like, oh, okay, this is going to be really good because then I'm going to be able to write some content to this or create a podcast to what I know is going on. But when you guys get really good at the social piece of it, then it does make sense to get Sales Navigator. I will say for me, if I was to start out again, instead of putting money into advertisements, I would have put money into Sales Navigator first. That's what I
Wow,
would have done.
that is pretty telling right there. And I just want to kind of emphasize this for everyone watching and those listening on podcast, that when you hear something like that from someone who has kind of based her business on the platform called LinkedIn, she's all in and she's the one you want to listen to, is my point. And when she says something like that, your ears should get really, really big. And you know what? It's probably, I like it's more of an organic approach, even though you're paying for it.
Mhm.
But I've never been a fan of the ads. I personally have never had any success. I mean, none. I've done my own. I've hired
Mhm.
three over the course of the years,
Yep.
three different Facebook ad agencies
Yep.
who I knew them personally, the owners, each, and they had no ill will. They were very successful at what they did. For some reason, when they did ads for me, it flopped, and I heard crickets. And
Mhm.
I just saw my money leaving my wallet and flying like fast.
Yeah.
And so I love the organic. Anytime I hear organic, and there are a lot of different strategies I've learned by talking to amazing people like you, Danielle, that can and do work. And you mentioned another very brilliant thing is that you had your, I forgot, administrator, I think is the term you use, but you have a team, it sounds
Mhm.
like.
Yep, I do.
And you also said, I do what I like to do, and what I don't like to do, I have my administrator do. I hope everybody heard that.
Yep.
That is one key to success of operating a business. If you don't like doing something, find somebody who does, or find somebody who will be willing to do it for money. They don't have to
Yep.
necessarily like it if you're paying them, but it'd be helpful.
Yeah. I don't like organizing. I'll just say it.
Oh,
I do not like it. It's not
same
my
here.
thing. I mean, I can do it and I will force myself to do it, but when you kind of build your business to a certain point, like, I really don't need to do this anymore. Can you guys just do this for me?
Yes.
And I will take the next steps because that's where I need to be anyway. And it's kind of that, am I going to drudge through my day doing things
Yeah.
that I hate doing, or am I going to do what I'm really good at? And I'm really good at social selling and marketing and getting to know people and seeing what they need and seeing who they need to connect with. And that's just better time spent. It's more money into the company. It's better relationships. It's more connections. It's actually better for everybody else because I'm one heck of a networker. So I know, and it's because I ask really good questions and I want to know, hey,
Mm,
what's going on with you? And I'll do my little questions where I'm like, "Oh, is this going to be a good fit personality wise? Am I actually going to like this person because I got to like them a lot to want to go ahead and connect them with somebody else I like." And so it's just asking really good questions, kind of going through those filtering systems that I have, and then asking the next questions. What do you need? Look how big my network is. It's not a problem. If you need something, I'm sure
mhm.
I can find it. Um, and so you do that, and then it always comes back. One way or another, it always comes back to you, and it's usually tenfold.
Wow. I don't even know how we ended up meeting, how you came onto my show. I'm certainly glad it did happen, though.
I don't remember either, actually.
I was looking everywhere. It's like, was she referred by a past guest? No, I don't see that. Was it Podmatch? Maybe, maybe. I don't know.
I think it was LinkedIn. It had to have been LinkedIn. I think
Oh,
we
that
met on
could be.
LinkedIn. I think we met on LinkedIn, and I think we just talked or something and said, "Let's chat." I think it was really simple.
That does sound familiar. So
Yeah.
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 Huh. Imagine that, everyone. She used the very tool she's talking about to market her own business to guess what? Market her own business. She's on a live show marketing, and she's not marketing. I'm asking her the questions. That's the beautiful thing about interview style shows. And I am genuinely curious about this. Danielle and I did not talk before this show. I didn't say, hey, I'm going to go promote you. I am curious and genuinely so because I want to find anything that's going to not just help me build my business, but everyone watching and listening as well. And so, Danielle, I'm going to ask you probably a really stupid question,
No
but
such thing. No such thing.
I'm surmising that possibly you have some kind of training course or coaching program that goes behind all of this.
Yeah. So there's a couple things that I do. I do a course on how to actually build out a highly optimized LinkedIn profile. So that's
Okay.
one. And it's basically it's a 4-week course, but you can go at your own pace, but it, it goes through every section of your LinkedIn and how to actually look at this from a digital marketing perspective. So that's the thing that I like to tell everybody is that I'm not a career coach. I'm not a salesperson. I am a copywriter. Yes, first and foremost, I started with copywriting in the digital space. But really, your LinkedIn profile can be optimized through digital marketing tactics, including the copywriting piece and SEO and all of those things. But the most important piece that I think, and this is a big shift from what LinkedIn used to be, is that it's not a resume. It's more of a website. And when it's a website, what's the
Mm,
best website right now? And the best types of websites are the ones that are customer centric. So when it comes to your profile, you got to get very niche and who it is that you want to attract in and what it is that, and you got to be able to You got to be able to empathize, like that you know exactly what they're going through, because it's the same thing that I say with any content that you write, with any email marketing that you do, is that you want your ideal clients to say, wow, it's like it's like he or she knows me. How did they get it so fast? And so you want to have that same reaction from your ideal clients as they're reading through. And it's really just once you do that and you create that connection, which is not the easiest thing to do in the digital space, and it's getting harder and harder to do because we only have like what 4.5 seconds to impress. But with LinkedIn, here's the great thing is that you have that first 4 seconds, but once they're in, and they're not, it's not like a website. They're in for 7 to 8 minutes. So make sure you've got 7 to 8 minutes worth of content going on LinkedIn. But once they get over that initial hump
Wow.
of looking through stuff, they're going to look through it. And so you've got to have all of it. You got to focus on the top part, of course, because you got to get them to stay. But once you get them to stay, they're going to stay. They're going to look through everything. They're going to go and look at the posts that you've done or the newsletters and the articles that you've written. It
Hmm.
really is. It's different. It's very different compared to Facebook. It's
Yeah,
very
yeah,
different.
it is, and I'm sure you peel it apart. But I mean, I love the fact that you have your finger on the pulse, and you just already described a big change and shift in how Sales Navigator can help match you with your ideal clients.
Yeah.
That just got me. Um, that woke my butt up. I mean,
Yeah.
that was awesome. Not
You're
that I was
welcome,
asleep.
LinkedIn. Now he's going to get Sales Navigator. I just made you another sale.
Yeah, I've had it
Oh,
twice
good.
in the past, and I've
Yeah.
let it go twice because I'm like, at that time I didn't have a team, and I'm like, I
Yeah.
don't have the time to navigate all this. No pun intended. Sales navigator navigate. Um, you said 7 minutes of content on your LinkedIn profile or your LinkedIn existence. I mean,
It's
what does
like,
that mean?
so with a profile, it's you still have some activity in your profile, and you have a featured section. So like the featured section can be articles, it can be posts, it can be newsletters. So you want your good stuff up there, the ones that have lots of likes and comments and stuff. So you can have those as your featured section. But the other
Hmm.
thing is that I tell everybody, I'm like, it really doesn't matter how many likes and comments you have on it. It really matters the content that's in that featured section. So if you come out with a new post that is just really nailing what your ideal client needs, that needs to be in your featured section. So we can let the likes and the comments go. It really doesn't matter. It's actually just for our ego anyway, but really come back to it really is. Come on.
It
It,
is.
it is.
It
It
is.
doesn't matter. I mean, some of the best posts that I have that are actually the conversion posts into like dream clients don't have very many likes and comments on them because it's meant for a very specific individual. And that means a heck of a lot more to me than the post that has thousands of likes and everything on it with a no next steps or no real connection. So it's just another way of looking at it. And you talked about it, like you like to automate stuff, but you've also noticed that there's certain things that you can't automate and some things that you like doing better. And so I think there's a reason why ads didn't work for you. You didn't want them to anyway. Like deeper down, you didn't want them to because you have a better way.
I didn't have it at the time. I wanted them to badly. I
You
really
wanted it
did.
to? I said deep down. I said
I was saying there, please work. I'm bleeding
it's usually a
cash.
gift. I know. I've done it too. Like so I've done it, I think you may have beat me by one agency, but I know that there was at least two that I was like, I'm like, don't tell me this is working because I'm just getting like, well, no, the numbers are good, but none of these are conversion numbers. So how is this good? And, but yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people who have done it, but it's also interesting because I find that a lot of the people who are meant to build communities and lead that way,
Mhm.
it seems like the ads don't work so much for them.
Yeah, and so I've done actual signature talks on automation versus personal connection, which is better for your business.
Hmm.
And the thing is, the answer is not one or the other; it's both.
Yeah.
But there is a difference. The shift on the automation side has been more and more away from marketing and
Yep.
more into back end communication to
Yep.
someone you've already established somewhat of a relationship with, or your team as well.
Yep.
So I have a boatload of automations that when certain things happen, it automatically will put a new task in ClickUp from one
Yep.
platform to another and let my team know this just came in, let's get on it. So they're not waiting for me to look for it, monitor it. So things like that, automation
Yeah.
is key because it
Yeah.
helps you to be more efficient. It also helps you to not have to hire as many people, and that is not a bad thing. I know a lot of people go, "Wait a minute, you're taking the human out of it." We're putting the humans into what humans do best.
Mhm.
And that isn't the day-to-day repeat the same thing over and over and over. It's the creative side, create video reels, sizzle reels, make sales calls, do things that only humans currently can do.
Yeah.
And it gives them a lane to be a better at the skill sets that really matter.
Yeah.
I'm a big
Yeah.
fan of helping my team to such a degree that they literally will have the skill sets to leave me.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
I always tell them, "You can never leave me," but I just want you to know I'm doing that so that you can if you want to. I just have fun with them. And I never say they work for me. I always say they work with me. We are a team. I tell them stuff no other owner would tell them. I'm telling
Yeah.
them everything. I want them to know what's going on in the business so they know inherently how to react to things that are going on outside. And
Yeah.
it's just working phenomenally well. And that's more along that line. The theme is relationships, right?
Yeah.
And it's a
Yeah.
much deeper, more solid relationship, not just with other people and clients, but also your own team,
Yeah.
all that good stuff. Man, this is a great. I'm having fun with this one, Danielle.
Well, it's funny that you say that because I know, and it was maybe a couple months ago. There were these posts on, and it's just like a big time CEO from a large company saying that your employees are not your family, so don't treat them as such. They're employees, and so it was almost the way that it was set up was like that they're dispensable. Like we can just get another one, and I think I reposted it and I said something like I disagree.
Yeah.
I think that whoever works with you deserves the same amount of respect that you would give to your family and friends. And so that, we just keep the human back in. But if you're building culture
Yes.
within a business, no matter what size your business is, I mean, you got to feel good about it at the end of the day. And one of my favorite people in the world, he said to me, he's like, just build something you're proud of. That's simple. Like when it comes to your business, just build something that you're proud of and the rest will fall into place.
Speaking of falling into place, do you know what that is? That is a bomb dropping moment if ever there was one.
Oh.
Smart bombs, knowledge bombs, bombs of wisdom. That all describes this young lady, Danielle Fitzpatrick Clark. Wow, I'm having a blast. No pun intended there either. This has been already fantastic. I've never dove in so quickly to what one person does for their business than I have with you. And it was out
Good.
of sheer, just total massive curiosity. And I'm so glad that we focused on that because I think what we're talking about is going to help a lot of people. And what
Yeah.
you're talking about is going to help a lot of people. And I will, I love it. Yes, ma'am. That was fire, Lorianne Hood. Yeah, and it was. All of it is fire, and I want people to have the ability to connect with you to
Yeah.
help them because I have heard over the years so many people that are experts on, and they are, truly are, they're not
Mhm.
saying they were bad, about revamping one's profile. And that was always the focus is just the profile, but it's really more than that. It is a catalyst because you go to talk to somebody, they are going to research you. What are they going to do? They're going to go to your profile. It's right there on the link.
Yeah.
And so that's absolutely a brilliant strategy. The other part of it is the talent or the skill set of having the conversation.
Yeah.
What is that icebreaker comment that's not going to basically piss them off?
Yeah.
What's that icebreaker comment that's going to have them lean in and say,
Yeah.
"Ooh, I want to hear more." And
Yeah.
I can only imagine with all your experimentation, you probably have quite the list of go-tos.
Yeah.
And do you offer anything like that as part of your courses or in a additional uh, service of any kind? Is that included?
Yeah, we do have a group program. So it's a hybrid group program. So there's a lot of I like to do one-on-one with people because it's one thing for me to teach you guys all these strategies, but it's another for me to kind of dig into your business and who your ideal clients are and what their biggest pain points are. So and what your solution is and how to create the communication around that. So I do have group programs. They're 12-week ones. There's actually options to come in for 4 weeks and then upgrade to another 4 weeks and upgrade to another 4 weeks so that you guys are getting everything that you need, and you're also getting a little one-on-one time with me. So I do have those. Those are called my Rapid LinkedIn Leads program, because it is lead generation, but then I teach you how to do the actual sales process, which
Ooh,
it's much easier than people think it is. I will say that everybody overthinks sales,
yeah,
especially online. They overthink it, and so when they overthink it, they they overdo it, and then when they overdo it, then they don't get the clients. And so it's very, everyone's really anxious, and I'm like, it's just as simple as a conversation, and you don't even have to sell, like, really, even if it's
true.
in the DMs on LinkedIn. What I tell everybody, and this is, if it's ideal, if it's an ideal client, because don't get me wrong, I have made a very bad impression to people on purpose in LinkedIn to get them out of my list. But really, for the ideal client, you want to make a good impression in LinkedIn DMs, and that's really all you're doing. You don't need to do anything else besides make a good impression. Simple.
Fantastic. Yeah, and it is. It's a lot simple. A lot of people like to just go in and, like I just say, vomit all over the
Yep.
the other individual the very first message and say, "Hey, come check out my stuff and come buy my crap." It's all
Yep.
this direct to the sale right away. It's like, no, no, no. Get to
Yep.
know them, find out what they need, what their pain point is. They may not need what you have.
Yep.
And like you astutely said earlier, Danielle, you talked about if they talk to you, you'll find out what they need, and then you said you'll connect them with that person. You didn't even say, "Oh, if they're a fit for me, I'll take them."
Yeah.
The first place you went in your mind, that's telling me all about you as a person. What a
Yeah.
wonderful person you are, is that you are first and foremost a servant. And
Yeah.
if that happens to be that they're a fit for you, then
Hmm.
great. If not, so what? You still get to help somebody, and that's gratifying. I know it's not a transactional thing with money, but at
Hmm.
the same time, guess what? Further down the road, if they do have a pain point that you solve, where are they going to go? They're going right to
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, it is very interesting, this shift, though, because and it's and I get it, and I understand why it's happening, and I know that people are just, they're trying to get their sales, but other people at the other end of the DMs are very standoffish. And so even when you're trying to help and you're offering to help and network, there's a lot of people that don't want to do it. And
Yeah.
so there you have the assumption. Yep, they are. Yep, they are. And I'm usually just really cheerful, like, okay, we don't need to connect. That's fine. We can just move on. Um, and so there's that piece, and it's really, and I think that people they'll go in, even if they come from in the servant heart, and they'll go into the DMs, and they'll look to communicate, and then people will reject them. Even
Yeah.
if it's from a good place, with the assumption that it's not from a good place, because who would be this nice online? Everybody's just trying to sell to me.
Yeah.
And what I wanna tell people, just so that they know, whatever your approach is, it doesn't, if you're the person that comes in and sells the first DM, if you're the person that's trying to get people to network and communicate with you just to get something going, and you get rejected, don't stop. Don't stop. Don't let it get to you. This
Yeah.
is, you gotta have a lot of grace with yourself when you're working with human beings in the online space, which means that you have to be very forgiving of yourself, and also letting go that you did anything wrong. There's nothing wrong to be done if you look at this as an experiment. And a lot of just thinking about other people and having empathy of where they are right now, or what they're, and I actually told somebody today, I'm like, please don't go into a sales pitch, because I know where you're going with this. And the poor guy's like, I wasn't trying to be that person. And I just told him, I said, it's not your fault. I need a break, because I had four people just, DM me a sales pitch, and I disconnected with them. And I said, so I was like, please don't do this to me. And he couldn't, but we had a nice little laugh. I said, let me come back to you, let me come back to you in just a week, because I really don't want to associate you with the sales process, and I'm going to make a note of it too. And so I was just really honest with them, like, it's not you, it's just, I had like four people come into my DMs right before you, and it was a lot, and so I just need a minute.
Yeah, we don't realize what kind of mental state the recipient is in when we
Yeah.
hit them up. We didn't know that they just got off the phone with a bad client or a horrible marketer or something like that.
Yep.
And yeah, sometimes it's good to hit that reset button and back off a little bit and say, let's reconvene. I don't mean that's, you just alerted me or reminded me of that great book by Don Miguel Ruiz, The Four Agreements, where
Hmm.
one of them is don't take anything personal, because
Yep.
it's not. They don't know you yet. How can it be
Nope.
personal?
Nope.
Right? And so the ego will get in the way, and your feelings will get hurt when you're rejected.
Yep.
from a DM from somebody they don't even know. So I
Yep.
love your advice. It's like, just keep going, just keep powering through it. Not everybody's going to like what you have to say, guaranteed.
That's when you know you're doing something right. This is why I was actually lovingly nicknamed the digital disruptor, and because I do disrupt, I do make people take a step back, and they're going to respond or they're going to react. And so it's just it is part of my personality actually. And where we go, and then that actually puts it back on me to be the person that's always responding, and it's practice. You got to get good at responding.
True.
You got to get good at not taking it personally. I mean, when you can really understand human beings, I mean, there was, and I think that people are just getting sold to a lot. But there was another gentleman just the other day, and I was like, "What's wrong?" I felt really bad for him. I was like, I just told him like, I know this isn't about me. Are you okay? and, and he just wasn't open to it. But there was definitely, I didn't take it personally because he's definitely having something going on that's way bigger than it's
Yeah.
way bigger than social media. Way
Yeah,
bigger.
we think that other people don't have any problems, and especially those that are looked at as more successful than us. We always think, oh, they're just in that hammock swinging back and forth with their umbrella drink and not a care in the world and raking in the millions. And it's funny because the more money you make and the bigger your company gets, it's actually the more problems that there are to be solved. But that's okay. That's what entrepreneurs are wired for, is to solve problems. And it's
Yeah.
just more challenges that we enjoy. We're kind of a weird breed that way, but a great
Oh,
breed, I
yeah.
think, at the same
Yes.
time. But one thing came to mind. I was curious, in your flow of communication
Mhm.
on, say, a LinkedIn DM or other, do you ever resort to doing an audio clip and just say something to them so they can hear your voice and go, hey, really, this is a soft, loving person that's talking
Yep.
to you. Just wanted you to know my intent from my
Uh,
voice.
yeah, I do that a lot. I do that on Facebook too. When
Okay.
when there is that, and I can think about something. Geez, a conversation that was like a year and a half ago, and it was a reaction to just some simple text. And so I came on, I said, hey, listen, I just want you to know that it's a real human being behind the keyboard here. I'm not sending you an automated message, and I'm wondering if you're having a day. And I'm just, and I don't want to make assumptions, so I'm going to ask you, and if you're having a day, it's okay. We can always come back to a conversation, or we can just disconnect. And so it was that. And then guess what? It was a day for her, and she went
Mhm.
on about it, and she really appreciated somebody just
Being human.
noticed being human and noticing. She didn't know how I did it, but it's pretty easy to tell if you actually take your ego and yourself out of the equation and just think, geez, if that was me, why would I respond like this? I can't even, you can kind of go through like, well, man, my day must be pretty tough if I'm coming into the DMs a little hot.
And there could be that too, right? It could be
Yeah.
your own mental attitude that you're not aware of as you're typing that could permeate the words, and they would feel that there's something going on with this person. I don't even want to react to them. So
Yep.
do you have any advice to people about, before sending a message, get into a certain emotional state? Do you talk about that at all in your?
Yeah, yeah, I do. Okay, so there was this, I can't even remember. She was brilliant. She had a book too, and she was a speaker on a summit that I had, I think, like 4 or 5 years ago. And she was talking about authentic communication and how everybody thinks that they're being authentic when they come and speak their truth. And I use these air quotes not to be mean or anything, but authentic truth is very misused when we say it that way, because if it's a reaction in the moment, then it's not necessarily who you really are, and so it's not authentic. It's actually,
Mm,
it's got some heat behind it. It's got some charge behind it, and that's actually not authentic to who we really are. Now, when we're in more of a peaceful, neutral place and we speak from that place, that's authentic. That's really
yeah.
what is. So, and I have to do it too. Don't I'm not perfect. There's nights I don't get enough sleep, and I don't have my coffee in time, and I'm at my keyboard, and so it takes. And you know what I have practiced is that I practice taking a beat before I send my messages. And my perfect no, some days I get out and I'm just like, "Oh, well, let's this person's being like this, and I think I'll just play with this one and poke them." I did it on my birthday this year. And I was like, oh, it's my birthday. I get to do what I want. So my husband laughed at me. I'm like, I get to do what I want. It's my birthday. I want to poke people. So, and I'm like, I'm going to learn something from it. And I did, and it was fun. And then I actually had a great conversation with a person, and I said that to them, and they thought that was hilarious. That's how I like to spend my birthday. I'm like, I just want to see what gets people moving. I like to see what gets them moving, whether it's that they're inspired or they're angry or annoyed, and it's usually more about themselves. And so I like to see what gets them moving. But yeah, like you just take a second before you send it, see what mood you're in, because that's the response you're going to get. And if you're good with it, then move forward. If you're not, just take a breath and then retype. The other thing that I do is that, and this is with emails, and it's usually when I'm responding, I'm really present when I respond, because sometimes I just want to respond with the answer or the instruction. And then I'm like, you know what? I'm going to take a step back. Like, hey, how's your day? Or how's the family? Or how's your
Yeah.
dog? And sometimes I've let them slip through without doing that. And then I'll actually put a reply. I'm like, you know what? I should have started with this. I'm going to do this now. How's the family?
Yeah.
Good morning. And so I'll do that, and it's okay. And it's funny because people will usually get a kick out of that too. Like, it's great. Thank you. and
Yeah.
and so that's just another awareness piece of, okay, we're still human. We are at a computer screen, and sometimes it's hard not to act like a computer in our responses.
Yeah.
Uh, it just takes practice, and like I said, even if I get an oopsies and I just send something, I will always reply like, you know what? Actually, good morning. I should have started with that, but good morning. I hope you had a great weekend. Um, how's your family? Please answer that first, and then you can answer whatever else I asked you. And we just roll with that. And so it usually gets a good laugh, and it usually gets the connection piece going. But the connection piece is really important in the online space. And we can forget it sometimes, but it does make a difference. It does make you really successful, when you're when you're online. And you can actually do that in your automation too. It's really fun when you get to play with automating very human content that is definitely your personality, and probably the reasons why people came in to and stay with you. It's usually the quirky stuff, like the really quirky stuff, like, oh gosh, only Brian could say that and get away with it. That
Right.
kind of stuff in your messages.
Right.
But it's really important too. Even with automation, we can do all of it.
I totally agree. I just looked at the clock. I cannot believe how fast we've gone by. So for everyone watching and listening, we're going to go another hour. I'm kidding. Um, I would love to. I am really enjoying this. I do have one, and I haven't forgotten. About the giveaway, the vacation giveaway, and a little birdie told me they had a little gift for you as well. Yes, that one right
Amazing.
there, Danielle
Yeah.
Fitzpatrick Clark. And
Yeah.
I like to close every show with one question. This one isn't it yet. I was just curious about the flow of this messaging. What is the ultimate result or outcome of all of that communication? Is it to get them off of social media and on the phone or a Zoom call and have an appointment? What is working for you?
Yeah, it's usually just getting them one step to getting in front of me. So it could be that I want them to come to an event. So I run a lot of events on LinkedIn. I actually will run workshops where we solve a very specific problem. Um, in general, when it comes to digital marketing, or even a phone call, like a networking call, just something where they can actually experience me in some way. And it doesn't have to lead to a sale. Does it lead to a sale? Yeah, more often than not it does. But it doesn't really, if it's just giving them what they need in that moment, it makes a big difference.
I love it.
Most people
Well,
never know.
Lorianne's in. She's going to stay for another hour. I love it. I don't know if you saw it earlier. Kelly Boyles was saying outstanding. So, yeah, this is outstanding. And all right, for those of you that have been hanging on there waiting for the vacation giveaway, I'm going to do that right in a moment. Danielle, I like to close every show with a very powerful question,
Yeah.
and it's been an amazing ride. I would say I used to ask it on occasion. I've been doing this show over 3 years, and I used to just here and there ask that question in the middle of the interview. And I found the responses were just quite interesting, intriguing. And I thought, I'm going to start closing the show with that every single time. So that's what we're doing. And before we do that, everyone that came on and stayed here live, here we go. You now will get the opportunity to enter to win a 5-night stay at a 5-star luxury resort. Again, compliments of the biginsidersecrets.com. That's my good buddy Jason Nast, who enables us to do this every single week and every show, no matter how often I do it. And so with that, I'm going to put the URL on the screen. Again, just write it down. You don't have to enter while we are on the air. Just enter when we're done. Make that your first action. But here it is. You ready? Write this down. It's coming up on the screen right now. For those of you watching live, go to ryp.im/vacation. Your vacation stay from literally anywhere in the world. I mean, there are places you can go that you can choose from. They're everywhere. ryp.im/vacation. You definitely want to enter that if you're watching this live. And guess what? We know who's watching live. So I can tell after the show's over when I see a vacation entry come in. I know how that works. So do it quickly after the show's over. And a little hint, just in case, Danielle, I've done this before. Guest experts are allowed to enter.
That was the first thing I thought. I'm like, can I enter? But I was like, I better ask later.
Yeah, you're definitely okay too. And if you need that URL, then let me know.
I got it.
Right on.
Got it.
Yeah, I've had guest experts win. I mean, you put the time in being here, you just as well have equal chance in winning that as well. In my opinion, that's just the way it rolls. It's my show, daggone it.
I like it. I like it. That's what I was gonna say. I'm like, it's your show. You get to. It's like your party, right?
Yeah, that's right. That's like, it's my birthday. I'm gonna poke people.
See, right? You guys get it now. Everybody's gonna do that on their birthday, so watch out.
Yep, it's birthday poke time. All right, I'm going to bring this up. Let me know if this is still good, but you have a gift to give away. We're going to bring that up on the screen.
Yes.
Go ahead and explain that if you would. In fact, I think I have a screenshot of that. So go ahead.
Awesome. Yeah. Okay, guys. So, one little thing to help you differentiate yourself on LinkedIn is to actually create a LinkedIn story. So, I know everyone's like, wait, there's LinkedIn stories? Yes, there's LinkedIn stories, and I'm going to teach you guys how to create them because what that looks like is that you know where your headshot is, your photo is on your LinkedIn profile. Well, when you guys upload a LinkedIn story, that photo turns into a video of you talking and then people can click on it and you can talk to them for a minute and tell them what you're all about. But when that does pop up, it actually gets people to stay longer, which is great because we need them to stay. We don't want them to click out and go to your competition. So it can be one of those big differentiators. So I teach you guys how to create it. It's not hard. It just takes a couple different steps.
I'll put it back up here in just a second. I'm going to actually drop this into the comments here so everyone can just click on it when they get there.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is at influencebuilder.com/LinkedIn-stories. Very important that everything after the / is lowercase. Before the / it doesn't matter, but influencebuilder.com / then all lowercase LinkedIn-stories. And I just sent that out to all the social media platforms that we're going live to, so they can just click right on that. And what is that? What's the price point for that?
Oh, it's free. This is for you guys.
Like what? Okay,
no,
so
yeah.
I'm so glad I offered you the opportunity to win because I'm going there after the show as well.
Oh, I can't wait to see what you guys put up for videos.
Woo! I've seen those. I've been very intrigued by them. Like, and you're right. I look at it. I'm like, I didn't even know I could click on it, though. I didn't even click.
Yeah, you could click on it because actually that link is on. If you click on it, I put the link right into the video. So the link to the link, it's fun because I actually talk about, hey, you want to create your own LinkedIn story? Go to this link, that link right there, and I'll teach you how to do it. So you know, I like to be a rebel like that and say, hey, you want to do one of these? I'll teach you how to do it. So just go to the link. But it just made the most sense to create a LinkedIn story about how to create LinkedIn stories.
I'd say you like to be a genius more than a rebel. That's just that's genius. I mean, my God, it's what you do. It's your forte. That's like, my God, that's just genius. I can't think of another word. That's fantastic. You are an astute young lady. I can tell. Very successful. You know what you're doing. You've been around the block. You're passionate about it. That just shows and shines through. And so I know we went a few minutes over. The great thing is I don't have to pay for studio time. Remember the old days? Well, you probably don't, but I'm a little bit older, a lot older probably. And if you had a studio, you had to pay dearly for
Yeah.
just standing and breathing the air inside of it. That's
Wow.
why I love about technology. It's such a great time to be alive, in my opinion. Uh,
Mhm.
we're about to call this a night, but not yet. They have that one last question. Oh,
Okay. That's a
yes.
good one. That's a good one.
Oh, it's a good one,
Okay.
Danielle. So here's the cool thing about it.
Mhm.
There is no such thing as a wrong answer.
I like that.
It does not exist. In fact, the exact opposite couldn't be more true.
Mhm.
The only correct answer is yours because it's going to be unique to you. And that includes how long it takes you to come up with your answer. It could be
Mhm.
like, oh, I know that. Or it could
Yeah.
be, hmm. And it could be several seconds, several minutes. Again, I'm not paying for studio time. Don't worry about it.
Mhm.
However
Mhm.
long it takes,
Mhm.
the answer is perfectly yours. I can tell you're already ready. You're chomping at the bit. I was going to say, are you ready? I already know the answer.
This is
You're,
really
you're
good
ready.
copywriting. You should actually put all this in copywriting because this is like the perfect piece for copywriting because you're getting me going. No, we're almost there. No, just so you know, that's what you're
The
doing.
old open loop, Gazarnik effect. Oh, yeah.
Uh-huh. Yep.
Cliffhanger.
Yep.
When we come back after the break. No, I'm kidding. So that's what they do. They all do it.
Yes, they do.
They build it up and then go poof. We're gone for a while.
Yep.
No. All right, here we go. So I'll ask it anyway. Danielle,
Mhm.
you ready?
Yep.
Here we go. Danielle
Mhm.
Fitzpatrick Clark. How do you define success?
Oh, that's a really great question. And I think that success is whatever feels the most aligned for you. Whatever feels like if you have that moment where you're like, I'm exactly where I need to be and where I'm meant to be, and everything is easy from here on out, then you've reached a level of success that most people don't. Really simple. That's all I
I
got.
love it. Short, to the point, and another bomb dropping moment.
Yay!
It's been a bomb dropping show altogether, and it's been that way because of Danielle Fitzpatrick Clark. And I am not saying that just to schmooze or anything. I truly mean it genuinely. I can't, I have fun on every show, and I don't want to say anything that puts anyone else that I've interviewed in a smaller light, but this one has been really enjoyable. Let me just say it
Okay.
that way. It's been a love, fun list, ma'am. I didn't know about that about LinkedIn. Lorianne
Mhm.
Hood is just going crazy. I love it. I love this part. She's watched several shows. Thank you, Lorianne. She's yeah, and it is my favorite. So I will be asking you later
Mhm.
um, for permission to include what your answer was into a collaborative book.
Oh
And
yeah.
I've already got the domain name. It's how do you define success.com, and nothing's there. Don't go there, people that are listening. But the book will be available there when I have collected enough to fill a book. Because here's the beautiful thing, Danielle, of over 3 years of doing this, no two people yet, not anybody, no two people have answered it the same way.
Yeah.
It's just mind blowing. That's why I kept doing it. And
Yeah.
some will go off for several minutes and
Yeah.
describe what success means to them. Some are
Yeah.
very succinct to the point, like you are.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what they are. It's your answer, and it's what success means to you
Yeah.
right now. And that's the beautiful thing. If I ask you a year from now, you may have a different answer. You probably will,
Yeah.
and so would I. And it's just one of those dynamic, ever living, breathing concepts, and it's just phenomenal. All right, just
Yeah.
as you are phenomenal. So I appreciate you once again for coming on the show. Is there any one last parting piece of advice you would like to give anyone out there who might be struggling in their business, who just
Yeah.
needs that little lift to say, Danielle said to do this, so that'll help everything? Is that do you have something in mind for that to leave people with tonight?
Yeah, and and I think that this is something that has been coming forward a lot like the last couple weeks and I just it's hard to do and I get it especially on those tough days, but if you guys can just take a step back from whatever's going on and really sink into the fact that you're so much further than you think you are. You're so much further than you think you are. You're so much further today than you were yesterday. There's only forward movement, even if you feel stuck. Because even when you feel stuck, there's something that you are learning in the process and you're moving through. We're never standing still. Energy never stops. That means that we actually never stop. We're always moving forward. So take comfort in that. If you can take comfort in anything today, take comfort in that you're actually moving forward, even if it feels like it's a centimeter at a time, it's still forward movement.
That is such amazingly good advice. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I felt absolutely stuck, and then a thought would come into my mind like, why am I doing this? And then the other side of me would say, whack and wake up, stupid. What do you mean? You love doing this. That's just,
Yeah.
you're just going through one little valley in the peaks and valleys of a business.
Yep.
And you always come out the other side. And then the next day is like, today, my God, for me personally was phenomenal. Oh my goodness, it was phenomenal. So you have these ups and downs, and they just are part of the life and business. But yeah, stay the course. Don't give up.
Yep.
That's what I always say is, and you pretty much said that in your own eloquent way. It's like, just keep going. And thank you for that encouragement for everyone
Yeah.
that's on and listening. I know they appreciate it.
Yeah.
We got to call this a show. I saw more comments coming in. We'll get to those later. I appreciate everyone who's come on and been engaging. You have no idea. I appreciate you. I can't wait to see you on the next show. We do this show at least once a week, sometimes twice a week. Go to the mindbodybusinessshow.com and register to get announcements so that you never miss one coming forward, because we'll have another phenomenal individual like Danielle Fitzpatrick Clark. I don't know if they can get any more phenomenal, but we're going to do our best to try to raise the bar. I mean, we're always trying to raise the bar. Danielle raised it pretty high. So once again, Danielle, thank you so very much for your time and your value and your everything. You're an amazing young woman, and I appreciate you.
Thank you. Well, my pleasure. It was great to be here with you.
And on behalf of that amazing young lady, Danielle Fitzpatrick Clark, I am Brian Kelly, the host of the Mind Body Business Show. So do one thing after the show is over. Everyone, please go out and serve others with love, kindness, and give them something that will give them a boost in their life or in their business or both. And above all else, please be blessed. That's it for now. Take care, everyone. Good night. Thank you for tuning in to the Mind Body Business Show podcast at www.themindbodybusinessshow.com. My name is Brian Kelly.